Yeah, on the Spreads prediction show coming to you live on May 10th. This relax and run it up Sunday, man. It feels so good to be back at the crib. Been on the road, been traveling. You know how we get down. We just booked a one way after we cash a big week and we go see a new place. This past week was out in Los Angeles, was out in San Diego, Mexico. So kind of jumping up and down the West Coast right there in Southern California. Really nice, man. Made some money on blackjack, lost some money on blackjack, crushed it on roulette. Went on a nice little weekend run. They did get us one day. I want to say that shit was on Friday. They might have got us. Yeah, Friday I want to say the books got our ass. But Thursday I know we cashed big. Yesterday we had another big day. We went 1-1 on the NBA side yesterday. We did cash on the Thunder, and we did take a L on the Cavs game. We went to the Pistons. I've been wrong on that game there. I thought that the Cavs could have got one on the road and steal one, and I also thought Pistons could have stole one on the road. This might be that type of series we saw in Toronto, where the home court is a real thing. You know, the regular season record doesn't show that the Cavs Pistons should have a really true advantage over home court. But the Cavaliers have played better at home in the playoffs. It's point in case. I mean, they allowed the Toronto game, to go as deep as it did because they just couldn't get wins on the road. That might be the same case here, and we'll see if the Pistons can get some wins. They didn't have a problem getting wins in Orlando, but they the problem is they gave up early ones at home to the Magic. We'll see if Pistons come back and get this thing taken up to 3-1, or if they lose and it goes 2-2 back into Detroit. But where I stand on this first game here, guys, before I get into it, I just wanted to kind of let you guys know the app that you're looking at here is Blowout Alert. You can get all the stats and data. You can look here at what the win percentages are for the New York Knicks. You can look and see what Brunson has scored in the playoffs here, how he's matched up against the 76ers over the last, I don't know how many games that is, 20? Over the last 14 games there, it says 14 games. 26 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. That's his average over 14 games. You can get all that information here in Blowout Alert. Highly recommend you guys download this app for free. You guys can always go up here, upgrade to Elite, get all kind of extra rankings, first basket scorer, get the DFS rankings and all that good stuff, man. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into this slate here, man. I want to go ahead and get straight to business. All I ask is if you find this information useful, you go ahead and drop a like, make sure to subscribe. And if you want the premium plays, just go to the descriptions tab. You'll see my links for Blowout Alert, for Winible, where I sell my plays. Let's get into it. Book the one way. First up, we got the Knicks, 76ers. The spread, keep the points, man. I don't need the points on either side. I think if you're going to play the 76ers, you play plus 104. If you're going to play the Knicks, it's minus 122. Look, OG Anunoby is going to be back tonight, it's looking like. I'm not 100% certain that he's going to suit up, but even then, this Knicks team has been really solid offensively. Once again, the 76ers went cold. I mean, Paul George carried this team to a lead in the first quarter. Tyrese Maxey's got to look to score more. Edgecomb's got to shoot the ball better. Embiid seems banged up, but he's probable. I mean, the 76ers could steal one here. They really could. And this might be the game to do it, to go back into New York and win the game 5. It feels like a spot play for the 76ers. But as I always say, in these 50-50 games, the value's on the 76ers, I would say, in a 50-50 game like this. But I lean towards the Knicks here. The Knicks haven't shown me enough for me to think that the 76ers can beat them. They just haven't. They haven't shown it to me. If this was like a plus 8.5, plus 7.5 spread that we saw this series open up with Philly, I'm like, oh yeah, we're hammering Philly all day long. But that just hasn't been the case. I mean, the spread moved down to 3.5 last game, and now it's even further down. I think that the Knicks come in here and they win this thing on the money line at minus 122. They close out the series. They get a sweep. And we're talking about how good this team is, and they potentially could win an NBA championship if they can continue to play like this. Look, I think that's going to be the conversation coming out of New York after tonight. They swept the 76ers. They look great. They're shooting the ball well. Mikal Bridges is giving great production in this series. I mean, 23, 18, 17, and 24 versus single-digit performances in the Hawks series. Like, guys playing out of his mind. I think Towns comes in here, has a better game tonight. He had a lot of foul trouble last game. I think we see a better 20-point effort out of Towns tonight. So give me something for Catman man. So I think he has a better game. Long story short, give me the Knicks minus 120 on the money line. You keep the points. Let's keep it moving. Spurs, Wolves, man. Spurs, Wolves. This is a great game because this Timberwolves defense is really solid. The line opened up at minus 3.5. It has moved all the way up to plus or minus 5.5 in favor of the Spurs, or you could say the Wolves getting 5.5. This for me is a little bit different because what we've seen in the Portland series and what we've seen in this series is the Spurs come out slow. They just do. It's the same thing we've seen out of the Thunder and the Lakers series. If you've played the first half spread on both series, you've only won one first half with the Spurs and the Thunder combined. That's how slow these guys have started. They've allowed the Timberwolves, they've allowed the Lakers to hang around in the first half. And then it's just the depth. The depth of these benches just outlast the depth of the Timberwolves and the Lakers. And that's kind of what's happening in the Spurs series and what we've definitely seen in the Lakers series. I like what I've seen out of, Shannon. I think that he's given them some great depth off the bench. DiVincenzo's obviously out for the season, but he's kind of stepped up and filled that role, and he may have even filled it better, in my opinion. It's kind of hard for me to get there with the minus 5.5 and a must-win game at home. It really is. The laying the 5.5 for me seems a little tough here in this spot. It's hard for me to move away from the Spurs just because they've been so dominant, and it feels like, they can easily make this a 3-1 series. But from what I've seen out of this unit defensively and how well Anthony Edwards can play, he had 32 points last game and it still couldn't get it done. But that's just for the simple fact that his team couldn't make the shots. And, the Spurs were making everything. Like, they were making everything and they just pulled away late. This is a tough one. I liked the Spurs when the line opened up at minus 3.5 because I do think this is a couple possession ball game. I don't see this being a 3-possession ball game. And that plus 5.5 starts putting it into the 3-possession range. I think we get a better effort from the Timberwolves tonight. I think that the money line could be alive here. It's hard for me to move away from the Spurs, guys. But if I'm going to bet this game, I probably want the plus 5.5 with the Timberwolves in my pocket here. And maybe sprinkle the money line. I don't think they go down easy tonight without a fight. I really do like the Spurs team. They're deep. Can they contain Wemby? But I believe Ant-Man, Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, Gobert, Dawson Mooney. I think these guys come out and have a good game tonight. They keep this thing within 3 possessions, and that plus 5.5 is active. So that's where I'm at, guys. Give me the Knicks on the money line. Give me the Timberwolves plus 5.5. That's where I'm going to take my bets tonight, my sides, my leans, my takes. Let's see if we can go 2-0 like we did the other night and run it up once again. I'll see y'all on the next show. Let's get it. Book the one way.